Is the American dream slipping through the fingers of our younger generations? In recent years, the financial struggles faced by Gen Z and millennials have become increasingly prevalent. These are generations born into a world of rapid technological advancement, yet they find themselves grappling with a financial landscape that seems more challenging than ever before. In days past, the American dream was a home in the suburbs, a white picket fence, a car in the driveway, and a healthy savings account to boot. But for many of our younger folks, these dreams seem to be just that, dreams. Consider the daunting task of saving money. It's no secret that the cost of living has skyrocketed while wages have remained relatively stagnant. Millennials and Gen Z are often criticized for their spending habits, but when a decent meal costs more than an hour's wage, can we really blame them for struggling to put money aside? Then there's the reality of living paycheck to paycheck. It's a stressful, precarious existence, where one unexpected expense can send you spiraling into debt. This isn't a result of frivolous spending or poor money management, it's the consequence of a system where the cost of basic necessities outpaces earnings, and let's not forget about the dream of homeownership. Once a common milestone of adulthood, buying a house now feels like a distant, unattainable luxury for many. With house prices soaring and wages failing to keep up, the dream of owning a home is being replaced with the reality of lifelong renting. And what about the car in the driveway? Well, when you're struggling to pay rent and put food on the table, a car can seem like an unnecessary luxury, especially when public transportation or a good pair of walking shoes can get you where you need to go. So, we find ourselves asking, what happened to the land of opportunity? The American dream, it seems, is transforming, but what's it morphing into, and how can our younger generations navigate this shifting landscape? As we delve deeper, we hope to shed some light on these pressing questions. Did you know that the majority of Gen Z and millennials haven't saved their first 100K yet? It's a daunting statistic, isn't it? But let's unpack it. In this era, the struggle to save money is real, and it's more intense than ever. High living costs, student loan debt, and wages that haven't kept pace with inflation are all significant obstacles. These hurdles make it seem like that first 100K is an unreachable mirage in the financial desert. Let's take a look at living costs. Rent, groceries, utilities, transportation. They all add up, and faster than you'd think. In many cities, the cost of living has skyrocketed, leaving many young adults struggling to make ends meet, let alone save. Then there's the burden of student loans. Education is invaluable, but it comes at a cost. Many Gen Z and millennials are saddled with student loan debt that feels like a financial ball and chain, hindering their ability to save. And let's not forget about wages. While the cost of living and education have shot up, wages haven't kept pace. This wage stagnation makes it hard to put anything aside after covering basic necessities. But it's not all doom and gloom, folks. The silver lining, financial literacy, and smart investing. Understanding how to manage money effectively, budget wisely, and invest strategically can be the key to unlocking that first 100K. Financial literacy is about more than understanding how to balance a checkbook. It's about knowing how to make your money work for you. It's about understanding the difference between assets and liabilities, knowing the power of compound interest, and realizing that a latte saved today could be a fortune tomorrow. Smart investing, on the other hand, is about taking calculated risks to grow your wealth. It's about understanding that the stock market isn't a casino, but a tool. It's about knowing when to hold, when to fold, and when to walk away. So, while the road to saving the first 100K is fraught with challenges, it's not impossible. With financial literacy and smart investing, Gen Z and millennials can start paving the path to their financial future today. Will they ever see that six-figure savings account? Well, that's up to them. But with the right tools and mindset, it's certainly within reach. Is the American dream, a car, a house, and a comfortable life, now a pipe dream for our younger generations? Let's take a moment to look at the reality of the housing and car market for Gen Z and millennials. These generations are facing a landscape vastly different from those navigated by their parents and grandparents. For the generations before, a house and a car were not just attainable, but expected milestones. A college degree was a ticket to a stable job, a house in the suburbs, a shiny car in the driveway, and a comfortable life. But for the younger folks today, this picture seems to be fading into a distant mirage. The cost of living has skyrocketed, and wages, well, they haven't exactly kept up. Consider the housing market. With prices soaring to stratospheric levels, owning a home has become a Herculean task. The average home price has more than doubled in the past 2 decades, while the median income has barely budged. The math just doesn't add up. And then, there's the car market. The cost of a new car has risen over 60% in the past 20 years. Meanwhile, student loans have ballooned, leaving little room for car payments in an already stretched budget. But it's not just about houses and cars, it's about the widening wealth gap and the increasing income inequality. The rich are getting richer, and the poor? They're struggling to keep their heads above water. Wealth is being concentrated in the hands of the few, while the many are left to fight over the crumbs. So, what does this mean for the American dream? Is it still a house, a car, and a comfortable life? Or has it morphed into something else, perhaps just the hope for financial stability, the ability to pay bills without anxiety, or the freedom to pursue passions without the burden of debt? Does the American dream need a new definition? Maybe it's time we start asking ourselves this question. After all, dreams are meant to inspire, not to discourage. It's high time we rethink what we're striving for, and perhaps, just perhaps, we'll find a new dream, one that's within reach for everyone. How many of our younger generations are living paycheck to paycheck? Surprisingly, or maybe not so surprisingly, the answer is a lot. They're caught in the whirlwind of minimal wage jobs that barely cover the soaring costs of living. Let's delve into this a bit more. Here's a fact that might knock your socks off. The Federal Reserve reports that about 4 in 10 Americans, if faced with an unexpected expense of $400, would not be able to cover it without selling something or borrowing money. Just imagine that. An unexpected car repair, a medical emergency, or even a higher-than-usual utility bill could spell disaster. Now, let's talk about the high living costs. Rent, groceries, healthcare, transportation, they're all consistently on the rise. Yet wages, well, they seem to be stuck in a time warp. The Pew Research Center has found that today's average hourly wage has about the same purchasing power it did in the late 70s. Yes, you heard that right, the 70s. The struggle to make ends meet is more than just numbers on a spreadsheet. It's a reality that millions face every day. It's choosing between paying the rent or buying groceries. It's working multiple jobs and still barely scraping by. It's a constant cycle of stress and worry, and it's taking a toll on both mental and physical health. Studies have shown that living paycheck to paycheck can lead to higher levels of stress, anxiety, and depression. It can also result in poor physical health due to lack of proper nutrition and insufficient healthcare. It's a vicious cycle, one that seems to be spinning faster and faster, with no sign of slowing down. So what does this mean for our younger generations? Are they doomed to a life of financial struggle and stress? Or can they break free from this cycle? It's a tough question, and one that demands an answer. As we continue to navigate this complex financial landscape, we need to ask ourselves, is this the new normal for our younger generations? Is it time to redefine the American dream for our younger generations? It seems like a rhetorical question, but it's one that requires serious contemplation. To navigate these financial struggles, we need to consider a range of solutions. Policy changes can play a crucial role. We need to advocate for laws that promote economic fairness, from wage equity to student debt relief. But systemic change doesn't stop at policy. Financial education is another pillar of this transformation. It's time we take it upon ourselves to understand how money works, how to save it, how to grow it. This knowledge is power, and it's high time we wield it. But at the end of the day, it's not just about the money. It's about shifting societal values. It's about understanding that success isn't just a picket fence and a 2-car garage. Maybe it's time we redefine success, and in turn, redefine the American dream. The American dream might be changing, but it's not dead yet.